This is the front view, and this is the left view. So we're going to work on this for the front view. It is 38 plus 22 wide, 51 plus 22 high. So I'll go to rectangle. I'll just start here. And you know what I'll do is I'm just going to create a box and it dimensions it. So I can double click this and go 51 plus 22. And double click this, 38 plus 22. That's one thing I don't like about this thing. Whoops. If you ever get cockeyed like that, you can always go to View, Normal to View. It'll clock it. And I just want to move it on the other side, so I could highlight this and grab that corner, move it back over here where I wanted it at 1 and 1 or 10 and 10. Okay, just double check the numbers here. 51 plus 22, 73 tall. 38 plus 22 would be 60 wide. Okay, so those appear to be okay. I'm going to go to Sketch, create a circle, just some arbitrary place here. I just like working on a grid, makes it easier for me to see where I'm at. And then I'll do another one over here. And what I like to do when I have those two circles, I like to create an axis where one dimension to this axis line will control the height of both circles. And I'm just going to go right to constraint right now to control that. Okay, what's the distance between the two holes? From this edge to here is 11. From this edge to here is 38. So it's 11 minus 38. I got to subtract the difference to get that right. So it's 11 minus 38, which would be the better way to call it out because this creates tolerance buildup. You want to create your holes so that there are a tighter tolerance between the two by creating a dimension between the two holes itself. Oh, and so it was 38 minus 11. Did I have that right? 38 minus 11. Okay, and the small hole is 8 and the other hole is 22. So I'll double click on this and I'm going to change that to a diameter and change this to 8. Double click on this. I believe that was the diameter of 22. I've already forgotten. And whoops, 22. I like to pull them out a little bit so I can see the numbers. Okay, 22. Now, I'm going to create this chamfer over here. So I'm going to use the chamfer command, and I'm going to grab the top line, and I'm going to make sure when I grab this bottom or vertical line that this one here is active. You want to make sure you're at first length and angle. Make sure that one is orange, and then just kind of come over here. When I put a dimension there, it's going to automatically put this dimension on it, which I know is 10. So I can double click that and change that to 10. But notice they didn't give me an angle. Instead, they gave me this constraint for the length of this line, or from the datum to that point. Okay? I also need to control the height of the dimension, which is 51, to the holes. So we'll do a dimension from the datum to this line. Shoot. Sorry about that. To this line here. Come on, phone, go off. And that's 51. All right, starting to take shape now. Okay, now for the trickier part. We want to get a dimension from this circle, that same center point, so I want it concentric, so I'll wait for that blue dot to show up. Come over here, and that radius is 22, so I'm just going to hit tab, 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 and type in 22 for radius. Oh, I feel like I did something wrong. 27. Oh, I didn't create a dimension. Oops. Make sure nothing's highlighted when you do that. I'm going to create a dimension from this point. It's really tricky getting there sometimes. I got to get that point to this vertical line. Okay, and that needs to be, I think 10. Where's 11? It was 11. So I'm going to double click on that, change it to 11. All right, see how this circle came out to be tangent? Because what I want to do here is I'm going to show you this trim command, and I'm going to trim this curve. I select that portion of the curve that I want to keep, and the portion of the line I want to keep. Okay, so it created that. Now I need a line tangent over here and a line that comes up over here. So what I could do is just go to the line command and start here. We'll come up. See what it's trying to do is trying to link to things. So try not to let it link to anything and then come over. Oh shoot, I should have went to polyline. So I could have just continued, okay? But since I only want one more line, I can just go back to line, go back to that endpoint, and then come over here. Oh, that's the wrong line. Son of a gun. I forgot to do something. Before I do that, I want to create a line. Comes up to here, over to here. Oh, geez, I did it again. Line from here over to here. I want to make sure that's a horizontal line. The problem is they're not touching. So what I do is I use the control button and I go to the dialog box. Using the dialog box, it will allow us to set tangency from that line to that circle. So I just, in this constraints pop-up window, select tangent, select OK. And now I can go to the trim command and trim this portion of this circle to this line. And you might be panicking, but hopefully you've learned earlier that even if this is not touching, by the way, this is just a construction line letting us see what's going on over here. I'm going to go and create a trim to this curve and this line over here. Okay, and then I can just select this line and delete it. Select this line here. We got to trim it. So I'm going to use the quick trim option for that and just get rid of that line where it intersects this one. I feel like I missed this dimension from here to here, so I got to create that dimension, and it is 21 millimeters. So I'm going to go to constraint and select this line here, and this is 21. Oh no, that's trying to hold tangent to that line. So if that ever happens, you just select on the tangent and delete it. and then select this line and go back to the dialog box and make that line vertical like it should have been. Final step would be to contact, so we'll double click contact the bottom line to this H axis. Contact this vertical line to the V axis. When I go to analysis, this part is closed. So 3 closed profiles, which is all good. And it's constrained. The only problem is I must have tangency not only from this line to this curve, I need tangency from this curve to this line. So what I do is I use the control button to grab both, and we go back to sketch and find the dialog box again. It's the second one on the constraints list. That's the dialog box. And we're going to hit tangent. What's going to happen is it goes over constraint. The reason why it's over constraint is this 73 dimension is not on my list, right, to do. I have too many constraints because this dimension and this radius, no, sorry, this 51 and this 22 already control the height. I don't need this there. It's defined by this one and this one. But I like it there for reference. So what I like to do is double click it, activate the reference box, and select OK. And this part is fully defined now. Alright, so that's what your part should look like. I don't like to have lines cross through my numbers, so I'll just slide it over like so. Drag it down just a bit. Looks a lot cleaner. I kind of don't like this, but I got to have it somewhere. If I come down here, I got this problem with it going through that, so it's not the greatest, but sometimes that's just the way it is. Since this is not a drawing, I could get away with that just to make it look clean. But on a drawing, you cannot have any of these dimensions inside this profile. So on a drawing, we would have to pull the constraints out. Okay, I'll create the second part or the third part of the video to finish this.